Chimpanzee lives, in the wild, probably 15, 20 years or whatever. Their whole life they've been around these people. So they act completely normal. Those people are just like another tree. Just another thing that's not of consequence. It doesn't steal resources from them. It doesn't try to intimidate them. It doesn't infringe on their territory. Never gets closer than 20 yards. No worries. So because of that, they've got this insane footage. It's one of the most incredible documentary series of all time. And they study the social behavior between the chimpanzees. And I had the guy on who directed it. It was really fascinating. I'm like, how often do they eat monkeys? He's like, dude, we couldn't even show them all. They're just eating monkeys all day. That's their favorite thing to do.
And they just rip them apart.
Yeah. And they didn't even know that until the 90s. When David Attenborough went to the jungle to film chimpanzees, they caught them hunting monkeys and eating them alive.
It's terrifying.
It's crazy.
It is terrifying.
There's a monkey, and this chimp has it like his hand is around its waist, and it's just eating it from the hips down like this.
Monkey's
and the monkey's
alive.
going, Jesus! It's just got this little monkey face that looks so much like ours. It's so close to us. And this chimp's just chewing chunks.
And so they have 20
pulling
years.
a leg off and handed it to this other chimp, and he's chewing it.
They share?
Oh, yeah, they share.
They share.
Well, that's a big part of this docuseries.
Interesting.
Is how they set up those social structures. Their social structures are so similar to ours. It's like, we think that the biggest chimpanzees, like the alpha male, it's not. Some of them it's not. It's a smart one who has made comrades and made a community and is very fair. Chimpanzees have a very strong sense of fairness and being slighted. Like if one of the elders doesn't get a piece of the monkey, they get fucking furious. Like, what have you done? Like, you have to make right. Like, you have to like soothe people's or monkeys, chimpanzees' anger at being slighted.
Dude, yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I always remember this as a kid. I was watching a nature show, and they had they call it the third beetle principle. There was the two male beetles were battling, and the female's watching. And while the two male beetles are battling, the third beetle comes and fucks the female.
That's what happens with elk all the time.
And it was just like, be a third beetle.
Yeah. They
just
studied white-tailed deer as well. Same thing happens. The big guys are fighting. When the big guys are fighting, the little sneaky one's like, hey, what's up, ladies?
Ladies like them. They're smart.
See if you can find a photograph of that Bondo ape.
Yes, please. I need to
Again,
see
very controversial. Why
is it controversial, though? If he has...
Because people don't want to believe it's real.
The same one, right?
So that's one. Yeah, that one's a dead one that they shot at an airport.
Holy
Look at the size of it compared to those guys. It's so much bigger than
trying to get on a plane.
This is you ever see that movie, The Congo? It's a stupid movie. Like
I read the book. It was a cool book where like the gorillas could talk.
But those chimpanzees, the crazy chimpanzees, were based on these Bondo apes.
Yeah.
That's the idea. So
look at that picture up in the top right with the black and white one.
Yeah. Well, see if find the camera trap photo. Scroll down a little bit. It'll probably be one of the first photos that you see. There's a camera trap photograph of... No, that's a different one. That's one that lived in America.
If I saw that in the forest, I would kill myself.
There's one, they called them humanzee, and they thought at one point in time that maybe somebody had fucked a chimpanzee. These are all cool. That's it. Where it says World of Carl Armand on the top shelf. Yeah, right there. That's the camera trap photo. That's not the best version of it. I've seen more clear version, but he's walking around, and they're enormous. These guys said they had a Land Rover, and they had a Defender, and they stopped, or whatever the truck was. They stopped the truck in the road as one walked by, and it was taller than the truck. Like, what?
So they're huge.
They're enormous. Some of them are, like I said, they're like 6 foot tall chimpanzees. And just imagine how strong a regular chimp is. So that's definitely that one up there. Click on that. That's click on the gallery. So Carl Armand is this guy who was this wildlife photographer that when they became aware of this subspecies. See the photographs of the skull?
Yeah.
See
that ridge.
Right. So the one behind it is a regular chimpanzee skull, and then the much larger one is the Bondo ape skull. They also nest on the ground like gorillas.
Yeah.
They're like, nobody's fucking with me.
Yikes.
They're fucking huge, man.
Damn.
And there's not a large population of them, and it's not very well studied.
Because it's so remote. And
It's very fucking dangerous to get there. But you see those bones in the ground? Show that image again. Look at the size difference between the regular chimpanzee skull in the background and then the Bondo ape in the foreground. And look at the crest on the head.
Yeah.
Nuts. The locals have two names for chimpanzees. They call them tree beaters and lion killers.
Lion killers?
Lion killers.
Yeah.
And the lion killers, first of all, there's no lions in the jungle, right?
No, lion's not king of the jungle.
Well, there's no lions. The lions live in the savannah,
That's
right?
why.
So calling them lion killers is probably just a fun name. But they have found, they did video one that was eating a jaguar. Or a leopard, rather.
Yeah.
A leopard. But they don't know if it found the leopard dead and ate it. They don't know what the fuck happened.
Could have coordinated it.
Did it really? Did they really
tag
jack
teamed
a
it.
leopard? I mean, maybe it was a
Could've.
small leopard. Well, you got to think if it's really 6 feet tall. So a regular chimpanzee gets to be like a full-grown male is probably like 180 pounds, like a big giant jack chimpanzee.
180?
180 pounds, and the strength of a 500-pound man. Like, so you weigh probably close to it,
Yeah.
right? You probably
I'm
weigh about
180.
180. Yeah. So your weight, but the strength of a 500-pound man. Now imagine.
That'd be cool.
Now imagine one that's not 5 feet tall, but 6 feet tall, and is not 200 pounds, but 300 pounds or 350. What?
Get that guy in the octagon.
Dude, fuck
Go.
that. A regular chimpanzee would fuck a human up. But that photograph of those two men that's sitting there with one that they shot,
Yeah.
that's one that they think is confirmed to be one of these Bondo apes. And it's so much bigger than them.
Hmm.
But you have to think, like, okay, these guys, like, first of all, they're in the background, just like when you catch a fish, you hold the fish out in front of you.
I mean,
It's
dude,
a perspective
This is
thing.
an anaconda thing.
Exactly.
Come on.
But the guy does have his hand on his shoulder, and I mean, there's some things you can't fake, like the size of his nuts.
I was going to say, the size of his nuts is the size of that guy's face.
And look at the size of his hand.
Yeah.
His hand's massive. There's a massive chimpanzee.
Grab onto some serious branches with that.
Google humanzee, because humanzee was a weird one. They had these people had this chimpanzee, and they dressed it up like a person, and it had weird facial features where it looked like so similar to a person.
Yeesh.
It looks weird. There's better images of it, and there's video of this, but I think
Dude.
along the way, that one right there to the left of that, yeah, right there where you're at's good too. So look at his face.
I don't like that.
Strange, right? Strange features,
He
and
looks
so
like he could work at a bank.
very weird. So it led people to think that his name is Oliver. It led people to think that Oliver was some sort of a hybrid. But it doesn't seem like he is. It just seems like he
Just a
just
weird
had
chimpanzee.
odd facial. But look, they put him in a fucking suit and tie and shit, and they're fine. But he became sexually attracted to his care and preferred humans over chimps. The problem with those things is they're horny, just like you know. And he doesn't even know there's other chimps because he doesn't get to see them. You know,
You look close enough.
he's like, I'll fuck you, lady,
Yeah.
and like she's taking care of him. He's like, take care of this. He's a horny
Fucking terrifying.
chimpanzee.
I've heard that orangutans do that too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're